Breaking news coming in right on top of the news are we're just getting information. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just spoken with Russian President Putin. This is the second call between the two heads of states, and this call has just been made. The last call was on the 24th of February, and it was on a day when several flights have been received in India by several ministers, and at the moment there is a requirement of a safe passage for some students who have been stuck in the eastern parts of Ukraine with a border with Russia, and safe passage for these students would help Indian students to return back via the Russia route back into India. I'm joined by my colleagues Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, joining me live from New Delhi. Also joining me live is Pradeep Datta from Lviv in Ukraine. Srinjoy also joins the broadcast. Coming across to you first, Srinjoy, any details of the Prime Minister's conversation with Russian President Putin?
Well, what we know is that this was about the Indians in Kharkiv, generally speaking, and overall Indians in the Ukraine area. The issue is really getting all those Indians out of Kharkiv before 9:30 Indian Standard Time, 6 o'clock local time. And that is one issue that could have come up in this discussion. The basic issue clearly is Ukraine, and the issue after that is getting Indians out of Ukraine as quickly as possible. Safe passage is the big point that Prime Minister is likely to have spoken with President Putin about.
Well, thank you, Srinjoy, for that update. Madhav, what are your sources telling you in terms of the evacuation process that is currently on? We understand some flights have just taken off from both Romania as well as from Budapest. How many more flights and how much longer is this Operation Ganga going to be on to evacuate all the Indians stranded in Ukraine?
Well, Navika, we are looking at about 46 flights. That's the schedule at the moment that we have with us. Of that, and that includes flights of various private carriers, Indian carriers, as well as those of the Air Force. And in a situation like this, we are told that over 60 to 70% of the people or the Indian students who are there in Ukraine have been taken out. About over 4,000 of them have landed back home here in India. And over the next week or so, they expect that with the upgradation, perhaps as far as the flight schedule is concerned, they'll be able to evacuate a large number of them. But the biggest concern is those who are stranded in the eastern part of the country, and that's where this conversation with President Putin of Prime Minister Modi becomes so important, because we know that there are Indian diplomats in Belgorod, which is about 40 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, fairly close, about 50 to 60 kilometers away from Kharkiv, that is seeing this intense shelling. Now, with the consulate there, with the embassy there in Ukraine coming out to tell all Indians to move out of the town of Kharkiv, because the intense shelling and the intense fighting that is expected in the next few hours, perhaps one could expect that from the various railway stations where Indian students are stranded, some kind of efforts could be made, and that's why the diplomats are standing by. At this moment, of course, there is no confirmation, but certainly Indian diplomats standing by to watch the situation on ground, see it evolve, and if there is any possibility of lifting out or even evacuating the Indian students who are stranded in different parts of Kharkiv and nearby areas, including Sumy, where in fact students have been trying to even board trains but are not being permitted at the moment, perhaps then we could see some kind of relief coming in. But there's absolutely no clarity as far as the government is concerned as to when that is likely to happen. Navika.
Well, we've got just fresh visuals coming in from General V.K. Singh, who has tweeted visuals of the C-17 Globemaster, which has been called in to Poland. This is a place called Rzeszów Airport in Poland, and the Globemaster is ready to take off with Indian students coming in from Ukraine, and the hashtag is no Indian left behind. And Pradeep, I want to come to you. Any information on students who were stuck in Kharkiv and Kharkov, because these are the areas where shelling and missiles have been raining in the last few hours? any rescue operations as these students been able to leave, or are they going to be waiting for Indian embassies to tie up with Russia so that they can move to the eastern border of Ukraine?
See, so far as the Kharkiv and Kharkov are concerned, because these are the areas which are facing the brunt of the Russian shelling during the last few days. And that's one of the reasons that the Prime Minister on 24th of February, when he interacted that time with on telephone, that was a 26-minute conversation, he told that time President Vladimir Putin that he was looking for the safe passage for the Indian students and he wanted their safety. And the second thing was that Indian diplomacy is all about peace. He said that issues need to be resolved amicably. I think since then several shells have been fired, cruise missiles have been fired, and this area has been faced the brunt a lot during the last few days. And that's one of the reasons that the government of India is right now really concerned about the safety and security of the students there. Today, when my colleague Yogesh Bhardwaj was talking to General VK Singh, that time he said that whenever they find a chance, they should leave that place and move toward the safer region, and after that the embassy will be taken care of. In the meantime, they are also getting in touch with the Russian authorities so that the safe passage can be provided to them. Because I interacted with the student myself today morning, there was a sigh of relief, there was a smile on their faces, and they chanted Bharat Mata Ki Jai. That means they were quite satisfied with the kind of the work that India has done during the last few days to get the students evacuated. Initially, they had to face many problems. Reason being that many of them were like the sitting ducks, because unarmed, they were just sitting inside their homes. Some of them were having the basement, some of them were lying inside the bunker, because the only thumb rule one has to follow in such a situation, because I had been covering shelling along the line of control, I have seen that the best thumb rule is that you lie on the ground. That's the only way you can prevent yourself from the shrapnels of the killer shell. That is what exactly during the mock drills here also the students and the civilians are being told, because they are the one who has suffered a lot, because there had been humanitarian crisis. It's a catastrophic situation. It is not only the people from India, but also the people in Ukraine are suffering. More than 5 million people have been displaced. The place where I am standing, normally it is a business activity. Right now here are only few people moving out. Reason being that there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of tension. Anything can happen anytime, because uncertainty is the only certainty in the war zone. That's what is applicable here in Ukraine too. We have seen that situation is quite uncertain. And the second thing is, the truth is the first casualty, because we have seen that the Russians have been maintaining that they are not targeting civilian areas. But if you look at the pictures on the ground, that narrates a different kind of a story. Many of the buildings have been brought down. We saw a short while back, we showed visuals from the Kharkiv area, how the consular building was targeted by the cruise missile. Short-range ballistic missiles, 350 of them have been fired during the last 48 hours. That really shows what exactly is the situation.
That's right.
So
you said it, Pradeep. Uncertainty is looming large, and look at the uncertainty. That is a Ukrainian volunteer asking for help. Just outside his bunker, standing with a mobile phone trying to send out an SOS message, and just behind him lands a missile. Look at that video.
Отчитываемся, потратили все деньги, только что заработали терминалы в Росте. Вот мы скупились, поразвозили, сейчас еще закинем в метро, и мы кончились, поэтому если сбор денег снова